guys, welcome back to my channel and to another video. So one of the most common comments that I get, or questions, as well as one of the most common requested video that I get, is basically how to start a budget, but also how to make it to where your bills are split up across all of your paychecks. So we obviously don't live in a perfect world, and we all have bills that are due all throughout the months on different days, and they really probably don't line up with when you get paid. So you have to do some work the first month that you start your budget to be able to take out portions of that bill's monthly payment for each paycheck. Now, some of us get paid weekly, such as myself, and then there are others who get paid bi-weekly. So I wanted to create a video and show you guys exactly how to split your bills up across your paychecks, whether you are a weekly paychecker or a bi-weekly paychecker. So we will get started here. I'm going to start with bi-weekly. So if you are weekly, you could even skip through this part if you want. I'll put a timestamp down in the description that tells where the weekly paycheckers start in, so you can just forward to there if you want to. So we have first starting with bi-weekly. Okay, so the main goal of this is, I'll give myself, or use myself as an example. So I get paid every week, and say I have my cell phone bill is $120 every month. It's due on the 15th. I have made it to where I'm able to take out $30 every paycheck for 4 weeks, and by the 4th week, which comes right before the 15th of the month, I have $120 set aside for that cell phone bill, and I was able to come up with that money over 1 month's worth of paychecks rather than waiting until the last second, and now it's the 15th, my $120 cell phone bill is due, and I now have to take that all out of one paycheck. It just makes it a lot more easy on your wallet to be able to separate it out so that you're taking it, a portion of it, out over paychecks over a course of time, rather than just taking the whole lump sum out of one paycheck. It just makes it a lot easier for budgeting. So that's the main goal of splitting up your bills across the paychecks. And really, I feel like this is one of the first steps to start with getting into budgeting. Obviously, the first step would be to write down all of your bills, everything, expenses, and then see how much money you have left over and kind of designate it to different things. That would be the first step, but this would be my next step. So, like I said, we're starting with bi-weekly. So I'm going to use some hypothetical numbers to start, but then I will use some of my real numbers too, as well as real dates. So let's say I'm actually going to use real dates here. So we're going to act like we're starting the beginning of February. So February has 4 weeks in it, and let's say you're bi-weekly, so let's say you get paid on the 1st of February and also the 15th of February. So, and I clearly need a different pen because that pen just died. We'll use blue. Okay. So again, for bi-weekly, so you are getting paid on the 1st and the 15th of February. So let's say that we'll just use the cell phone example. So you have a cell phone, which your minimum payment is $100, and that is due on, let's say we'll say the 7th. Okay, so what you gotta do, you're going to get paid on the 1st here. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. So you're going to get paid on February 1st, and then you're not going to get paid again until February 15th. But since this is your very first month starting budgeting, you need to come up with that $100 cell phone payment before you get to the 15th again. So what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to take that entire amount out on the 1st so that you have it by the time it comes due on the 7th. And then once you do that, then you will be able to split it up between your 2 paychecks every month. But that very first month, for those bills that are due towards the beginning of the month, you have to take them out in full because you don't have another paycheck to split it up with. So you may need to think of other ways to bring in some extra income to be able to make those payments in full for the very first time. And some examples of that, maybe you have some extra clothing or household decor, furniture, and whatnot that you could sell. Or maybe you could babysit or pick up a few extra hours at work. Something like that. Just something to bring in a little extra income so that when you make those whole payments that very first time, it won't feel so hard and you'll actually be able to do that. So, with this, then on the 1st, when you get paid, you're going to need to take out that entire $100 to pay for your cell phone, which is due on the 7th. Now, though you have paid that, so you're going to get paid again on the 15th. Since you have already made the full payment for February, and now your next payment will not be due until March 7th, you now will be able to split this up. So since you're a bi-weekly paychecker, you'll be able to take out $50 on the 15th, and then again when you get paid on March 1st, we'll put these here so you guys know what months I'm talking about. So when you get paid on March 1st, you again are going to take out $50, and those two amounts combined will now get you to your $100 payment for your cell phone for you to make that payment on March 7th when it's due again. So that's the gist of it. When you very first start with this, you have to be able to pay for that bill entirely in full because you don't have another paycheck to split it up with. But then after that, then you're able to split it in half because you're bi-weekly. You're able to split it into half and make those payments every 2 weeks. That way then you have the combined amount to pay for it when they're due again. So I am going to use some of my bills here, as this is what you would do next to figure out all of your bills. So I'm just going to choose 5 of mine that are kind of due at various times during the month. So I have here, okay, so we'll use credit 1, which is due on the 2nd, and my minimum payment for that is $60. And then Lend Up is due on the 7th with a minimum payment of $25. And then PP Credit is due on the 10th, and that minimum payment is $38. Walmart is due on the 18th. That one is also $38. And we'll use UNI, which is my car payment, which is a big one, is due on the 29th. And that one is $612. So let's say that these are your 5 bills that you have to pay every month. Obviously, I know that you guys probably have way more than that. You'll have your rent or mortgage, you'll have your utilities, electricity, things like that, other debt payments, insurance, whatever you have it. But we're just using these 5 as an example. So Now, again, my paychecks for these are the 1st and the 15th. All right, so what you're going to do is credit 1. This one is due on the 2nd. So going back to my calendar again, I get paid on the 1st and it's due the very next day. I will not get paid again till the 15th. I have no other paychecks to split this one up with, so I have to do that $60 in full on the 1st. So what I'm going to do here, so credit 1 is going to get paid, or you're going to do the whole $60, and this is going to be on the 1st paycheck. So February 1st paycheck. Credit 1, we have to do the whole 60. Again, lend up is due on the 7th, so you don't have another paycheck to split that up with. We have to do that whole amount. So lend up is going to be the entire $25. PP credit is due on the 10th, so we have to take that entire amount. So that is $38. Now, Walmart is on the 18th, so you're going to get paid on the 1st and on the 15th. So you're going to get paid 2 times before this Walmart bill is due. So this one, you can actually split it up into 2. So we're just talking about February 1st paycheck here. So we're going to write down Walmart, and we are going to divide that one by 2 because we're only going to take half of it on that first paycheck. So you're going to do $19 here, and then we'll get to the second portion when I'm done here. So then same with you and I. That one is due on the 29th, so you will have been paid on the 1st and you will have been paid on the 15th. So you will have 2 paychecks to split that one up by. So again, we're going to just take that one, divide it by 2. So on the 1st, you need to come up with $306 for that bill. So that's why I said it really depends on when your bills are due. If it's usually like the first half of the month and your bi-weekly paycheck, then it's just the first half that you have to take out the full amount. And then usually it's the second half that you can split up between the 2. So that was February 1st paycheck. So February 15th, credit 1 again. So you paid for this already because this one was due on the 2nd. You paid for that entire $60. So now the February 15th one comes around, you can cut this in half because you're going to have 2 paychecks before it's due again. You're going to have this paycheck and you're going to have March 1st paycheck before it's due on March 2nd. So credit 1 this time is going to be $30. Same with lend up. You already paid this because it was due on the 7th. You can now split that one in half, which would be $12.50. Same with PP credit. You've already paid that here. So this one you can split in half, which is going to be $19. And then Walmart, this was split in half already. So this one, your total bill, your total amount due is $38. So this one, you are going to do $19 again. You now have that entire $38 to be able to pay that bill when it comes due on the 18th. So then we move down to you and I. This one you had already split up as well, so you're going to do $306 again for the February 15th paycheck. So then those 2 amounts combined together will get you your $612, which you can pay on the 29th. So then you just kind of go on and on. So your March 1st paycheck, you're again going to take $30 for credit 1. Now you have those two amounts combined. You can pay your $60 on the 2nd. You're going to take your $12.50 for lend up. You now have those 2 amounts combined to get you to your $25, which is due on the 7th. This one, you're going to do 19 again. You now have those two amounts. And these two, you just paid those already, so now you're kind of starting over, but you're still just taking half of them. So that's how it goes. So rather than coming up with all of these amounts right when they come due out of one paycheck, I mean, could you imagine taking $612 out of one paycheck? I get paid weekly and I get paid right about $660 a week. So that would leave me like a little, like $48 left out of that paycheck if I didn't follow this plan. If I just procrastinated and was not budgeting and was not prepared, and then it's like, oh crap, my car payment is due this week and I don't have anything set aside for it, so I now have to take $612 out of my $660 paycheck to be able to cover that, and then I'm left with nothing else. So that is why doing it this way is such a good method. And it is a little difficult to get started because you do have to pay for some of those in full right away, but then once you do that, then you're able to get on a schedule and only take half of them out every paycheck, and it just makes being able to pay them when they become due so much easier, and you know that the money's there because you've planned and you've budgeted for it. So that is the bi-weekly portion. Now I am going to move into setting it up weekly. Alright, so onto a new page, we're going to work on the weekly budget now. And I thought this washi tape was so fitting for the video that I'm doing. It says, every day is another chance to change your life. And budgeting does just that. It's a way to organize your life and your finances and make financing and budgeting and being able to afford things so much less stressful because you've planned, you have the money, and you know where all your money is going. I always see those posts on Facebook where it's something like you look at your bank account expecting to have like $400 and you have like 3 cents. You know, with budgeting, you should never have that. You should never have to have that anxiety of not knowing how much money you have because you know pretty much where every dollar is going. And it's just a really awesome feeling to be prepared and organized for different expenses, emergencies, stuff like that. Okay, so let's do the weekly. So I get paid weekly, so this is the exact way that I do mine. And again, I'm going to use real dates here. So let's say you are wanting to set up a weekly budget, like splitting your bills up across your paycheck, starting the very first day of February. I know the first day of February is past, but you can kind of figure it out from there. So in February then, you're going to get paid on the 1st, the 8th, the 15th, and the 22nd. So basically, if you have a cell phone bill that's $100 and it's due on the, let's say the 7th, you're going to be able to take that $100 bill and take out money each week of the month to put towards that. So you're going to be able to take out $25 on this Friday, $25 here, $25 here, and $25 here. That way you have the whole $100 when the bill is due. So you're basically splitting it up 4 ways, whereas a bi-weekly paychecker is splitting it up 2 ways. So we will start with that. So I'm just going to use that cell phone. So in the month of February, you are getting paid on the 1st, on the 8th, on the 15th, and on the 22nd. So those are your 4 paydays. Let's say you have a cell phone, and we'll use different dates and numbers than we used on the previous one. So let's say your cell phone bill is due on the, we'll say the 15th. And we'll say this cell phone bill is $120 because that is what my cell phone bill is, and that's the day that it's due. Okay, so what you're going to do is on your very first paycheck, which is February 1st, I'm just going to write down all the paychecks here before I continue. February 15th and February 22nd. Now, weekly paycheckers, it's a little more confusing than bi-weekly, but it's not too bad. So what you're going to do is that $120 is due on the 15th. So before the 15th, you have 2 paychecks to be able to split that up amongst before it's due on this day. So you have the 1st and the 8th. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to split that amount in half because I only have 2 paychecks to be able to split it up with at the beginning. So on February 1st, I'm going to pay $60, and then on February 8th, I'm going to pay another $60, and then those 2 amounts combined are going to give me my $120 that is due on the 15th. Now going forward, now I'm starting over, and now I'm going to have the 4 weeks to be able to split that up between. So let me get my calendar back out here so I can see what March's dates are. March. So then in March, your paychecks are going to be March 1st. Oh, funny, it's the same exact days as February. We'll just go with those 2 for now. Okay, so again, I took out $60 here and $60 here because it was due on the 15th and I only had the 2 paychecks to split it up with. But now that I've paid that, I'm starting over. I'm going to take that $120 and now divide it by 4 because I now have 4 paychecks to split it up against, or to split it up with. So we're going to do 30 here, 30 here, 30 March 1st, and 30 March 8th. Now that 4 weeks will give me $120, which I'm going to then pay my bill on the 15th. So I'm going to use the same examples here that I used for the bi-weekly. So we'll zoom in here. So this is what you would do to figure out all of your bills and how you're going to pay them out. So you would write down all of your bills. I do it in order of which one is due the beginning of the month all the way till the end of the month. And then the minimum payment. So credit 1's due on the 2nd, it has a $60 minimum payment. Lend Up's due on the 7th, has $25. PP Credit is due on the 10th, it has a $38. Walmart's due on the 18th, also $38, and UNI, which is my card payment, due on the 29th, which is $612. So what you're going to do is on your February 1st paycheck, that credit 1 is due on the 2nd. So you have no other paychecks to split that up with. So on February 1st, you have to pay that entire $60. And then on February 8th, you can now split that up between 4 paychecks because you've paid this entire amount. So then you're going to have the 8th, the 15th, the 22nd, and March 1st, all for paychecks before that's due again. So you would take that $60, divide it by 4, and your payments from now on are going to be $15 a week is what you would have to take out for credit 1. And then once you have those 4 done, by the time March 2nd comes, you'll have that whole $60 to be able to pay that, and then it'll just continue on with $15 unless your minimum payment changes for some reason. It's just that very first time that you have to put down that full amount. So then we'll just proceed with the rest of these. So Lend Up is due on the 7th. So you have your paycheck on the 1st, and you do not have another one until the 8th. So that $25 you will also have to pay right away on the 1st. But then you're now going to take these 4 paychecks, because that's how many you have before your bill is due again. You're going to take that 25, divide it by the 4, and now your payment that you're going to make each week, or what you're going to take out each week to set aside, is $6.25. And then by the time it's due on March 7th, you will have that entire $25. PP credit is due on the 10th, so you are going to have 2 paychecks to split it up between before that 10th is due. So you are going to take $38 and divide it by 2, because you're going to have the first paycheck and the 8th paycheck. So you're going to need to do $19 on both of these, and then when it's due on the 10th, you'll have these 2 amounts added up together equals $38 to be able to put towards that $38 payment. And now after that one is paid, now you will be able to divide it by 4 to pay, because you'll have the next 4 weeks before it's due again. So 38 divided by 4 is $9.50. So after it's due February 10th, now you can do $9.50 payments on it rather than the 19. And then you'll have those 4, so you'll have the $38 by the time it's due on March 10th. Walmart is due on the 18th, so you will have 3 paychecks to split it up against by the time it's due for that very first one. So I'm going to round up, so $12.67 is what you're going to pay for the first 3 paychecks, and then those 3 numbers combined will get you your $38 to pay on the 18th, and then you'll be able to split it up between 4 paychecks. So again, 38 divided by 4 is $9.50, and that's what you will set aside from now on. And the last one, which is the big one, is UNI. So it's $612, it's due on the 29th. So I will have all 4 paychecks to split that up against. So this one is really nice because it's due at the end of the month. I don't have to come up with the whole amount or even half of it. I can just right from the beginning split it up between 4 paychecks just because of the date that it's due. So $612 divided by 4. So I'm going to be taking $153 out of every paycheck, and by the time I get to my 4th paycheck, I will have $612 set aside to be able to pay that. So that is how this works. It's extremely nice to be prepared, like I've already said, and it does take a little bit of figuring when you very first start to figure out how much you have to pay to begin with, and then what dates you can split it up by and the amounts that you need to split it up by. But just write it out. That's really the first step. You just have to write out all your bills, again, in order of do the earliest in the month to do the latest in the month, and then just write out your paycheck dates and kind of go from there. This one's due the 2nd, so you have to pay it all here. This one's due the 10th, so you can split it up between the 2. And same with bi-weekly, it's the same way, you just have to write it out. That is the first step in it. So I think that is it for this video. If you guys have any questions at all, please comment them down below. I know that this can get kind of confusing. So I am definitely here to help you guys if you need it. And that's whether you're bi-weekly or weekly. I am definitely here to help you guys. So let me know if you have any questions. Give this video a big thumbs up if you liked it. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. I love to help you guys. I'm very open about my budgeting, my income, my amounts, my debt. I'm very transparent and I use real numbers. So I would really love for you guys to subscribe if you haven't. And I will catch you guys in my next video. Bye!